Hey, what's going on, y'all? So I just currently hit $500. I normally do these $500 a day runs. So in this video, I'm pretty much going to show you that. I'm going to show you how to make around $500 a day. If not more, if not a little bit less, trading meme coins. I'm not going to guarantee any of these results, but I can just say for a fact, for me, this is how I've currently been going about making around $500 or so a day. In this case, I'm stopping here at $517. I'm not sure why it's not showing any of my trade history here. We can actually go over to Portfolio Analyzer and you can see some of pretty big gains here, pretty small regular gains. We have some losses. Anyways, guys, let's go ahead and get to this video. That way I can show you everything you need to know to get to these levels. All right, so in my last couple of videos, I was showing you a tool called Photon. Now that tool is really good. But I do think that BULLX is just that much better to where I would recommend using this one over Photon. So the link for this is going to be down in the description. I believe they're on it's either 200 or 500K waiting list right now. But if you use that link down below, you'll be able to get right into the platform and start trading right away. So definitely use that link down in the description to get started now. So yeah, anyways, let's get right into it. So when you first land, so after you go ahead and click on that link, sign up through Telegram, it will go ahead and provide you access to be able to get to this actual web page. Now, once you get here, this is going to be the home page where it's going to show you pretty much all the new pairs. And for this video, we're not even going to focus on this at all. I don't think this is the best area to trade. We're talking about meme coins, so we're going to go over to Pump Vision. Now Pump Vision is going to have a very similar setup like you would see in Memescope and Photon, but it's just going to be a little bit different and possibly a little bit more advantageous. So the first, I guess, standout feature is it has integrated Google Lens, so you can see kind of where they got this image from. So obviously for this one right here, we can see that it is a Google image that they got from this right here. So backrooms.com. It's just one extra thing to kind of help you judge on whether or not, the project is unique enough for your liking to go ahead and actually dive into it. So let's go ahead and start with filters, right? Because that's the first thing people want to see. Very, very basic filters here. So pumpfund.tokens, that's all we're looking at in this video. We don't want to look at the moonshots, and then with at least one social for new creations. About to graduate gets a little bit different, but we got about the same thing. And then we got a total of 90 minutes maximum age. Now, what I've noticed is that tokens, if they go past about an hour and a half, they're most likely never going to migrate. Now, the only way that they will end up migrating is if they get some outside source to come in and then pump the token itself. But again, we're not betting on anything like that. We're betting on pretty solid go-to things that are pretty likely to get us into a profit rather than betting on pretty much gambling, right? We don't want to gamble. We want to go off some sort of statistics, some sort of technical analysis to be able to at least get us those small wins or those 100x, those 1000x gains as well. Now we're going to go ahead and go over here to graduated, and we're literally only going to have two filters. We're going to have pump.fund tokens, and then we're going to have max age at 30 minutes. I don't want anything more than that because usually from the migrated, they're pretty much dead and gone after 30 minutes or so. All right, so yeah, as you can see, we got two different slides on here. Usually what I end up doing is I'll have one on Pump Vision. So I have, say I want to look at this Buddha. This Buddha is migrating currently right now. So we can see kind of where this one goes, right? And let's go look at the history too before we get super deep into this. Now the dev hasn't sold here, which this is a little bit concerning. Another thing that BULLX Auto does, if it recognizes something that's a little suspicious, it will auto pull up the audit results. And it's telling us that 33% of the top 10 holders own the coin. So that's a little dangerous, right? Because they can pretty much do a 33% dump if they're all in cahoots, or if it really is just a dev with other wallets. So one thing you can also use, and I'll have the link down in the description, is this thing called Trench Radar Scanner. So if we pull it up right here, we can go ahead and search that pump.fund token. Again, this would only work with pump.fund tokens, and we can see that it brought back 52 total bundles. Now, this is a little bit dangerous, right? Because it's totaling to about 177 SOL. And again, like BULLX showed us, that's 38% of the total supply. Now, that's really, really dangerous. And what that is telling me that this could probably instantaneously rug. Now, will it rug? It's to be seen, right? But a trench radar scanner helps you because sometimes BULLX, Photon, like all of them can't necessarily get them completely right. But the way that trench radar scanner works and the way that the code is set up, it's actually able to dive a little bit deeper and find more connections that even some of this other software can't. So if you want to see that, it's going to be the link down in the description. Use that tool. I would definitely use it, especially if it's looking just a little bit too sketchy for your liking. It will help out a ton. All right, yeah. So I'll be right here and say I'm ready in this coin. We're migrating, cool. Well, I don't want to just stay stagnant. I want to keep on going. And I want to have this on the other side to be able to do that. All right, so we can see that it actually just ended up migrating, shot up pretty hard up to the 180s, and it seems like it's going even higher. So this one might be good. Looking at a 28%, so it looks like some people dropped off. So it might not be as bundled as even Trench Radar said. So far, I mean, a pretty good token if you were able to get into this one a little bit early. Now, I always find these ones to be a little bit scary, right? When the dev doesn't sell. And a lot of people, they say, well, why would you want to get into a coin with a dev sell? Because doesn't that mean that the token won't have any motion going forward? You know, there's nobody that's going to be promoting it and things like that. And although that's true, we're getting some pretty big dips here. Go ahead and check 21. So more people got out. And while that might be true, it really depends on the token. So if the token is, in this case, let's look at this one. So this one's Buddha AI. So let's go ahead and check this website. So it looks like it's some sort of AI token. It has the contract address, so that makes it a little bit more enticing for people. And there is some stuff here. Doesn't really seem like there's much to interact with. Okay, here's the website maybe. Oh, this is actually kind of sick. All right, so we got X. I'm assuming this is Twitter. Yep. And what is this going to be? This takes us back here. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what's going on with this coin. But this is what I would say. If the dev hasn't sold and it's a relatively serious project, like where they have to set up an entire website, there is actual AI involved, or there's a lot of moving parts and components and promises and things like that, and the dev already sold, well, at that point, it's a little bit sketchy, right, to get into that project, because now it's like, well, who is going to continue, you know, that project if the dev already dumped his bag? What incentive does he have to continue? And yeah, in that instance, I would agree. If it's more of a meme type token where there's not really any point of it, it's just kind of a meme, you know, drive some attention, pump up the price, and, you know, make some gains from it, then you want the dev to sell, because then it's going to be, well, I don't want to get dumped on. And I can show you that chart right here. Boom, instantaneously. So the dev bought a lot. He bought about 5K, and it started pumping really hard. The dev started selling, and just like Photon, BULLX will also show you, you know, dev buys, dev sells, sniper trades, insider trades, things like that. And we can see that the dev made out with a good chunk of change. So 2K right here, 2K right here, 3K right here, 3K right here. And some people would think that it's, you know, relatively safe, but obviously it wasn't. So this is where even software can't account for all the insiders, right? There was more insiders here than even the chart showed. So in this video, I'm going to definitely show you how to avoid things like this, because you don't want to get it caught in this trap, right? It looks like it's doing so good, goes up, it's about to hit migration, and then dumps. A lot of charts will do this. And one of the key things that you want to look for when looking at, or when avoiding these types of, you know, coins, is actually how fast the chart is moving and whether or not the dev bought or sold early. So if the dev got out of this pretty early and the coin started moving, then that will be something called a community takeover. And especially if we check in the audit results. Now here it's going to look great because it's all gone. But if the dev sold early, the audit results for the top 10 holders were somewhere, you know, in the 20% and below range, and it started pumping a bit hard. Now that's something called a community takeover, and that's basically where the dev's gone and the community is going to be the one that's driving the price up. That's when you would want to go ahead and go for something like this. But in this instance, that wasn't what happened. I'm not going to be able to show you here, but the audit results showed that the top 10 holders held about 39%. Always avoid. I really want to just stress this enough. Always avoid things, coins that are in the 30 plus range. Now, sometimes you could get away with the 29, 28, whatever. Now, obviously, but 30 plus is almost 100% always a scam, and it's going to be a dump. Because the one thing with these pump fund tokens is you can't traditionally rug the token. You can't just burn the liquidity. You can't freeze the token. The way that pump fund tokens are created, it mitigates that. But what you can do is, send yourself, or either the dev himself can buy a bunch of tokens, store them, and then dump on you, or the dev can, tokenize those tokens out to other wallets, other people, other insiders potentially, and then dump on you. So that's why Trench Radar Scanner is pretty important, because it'll show you when wallets have bought in the same time period. So if we go back over to the Trench Radar Scanner here, from the Buddha one, we can see that there was 52 bundles, right? And we can see that all of these wallets were buying a ton of stuff. These were all during the exact same time frame. So you want to be really careful with this, because again, they can all dump at the same time, especially if these are all sniper bots. They can just auto sell right on top of you, and you don't want to get caught in these trenches like that. Now, right here, this is an example of sometimes, even though it's bundled, that doesn't mean it's going to dump. So the dev still hasn't sold here, and the token's doing quite insane. So not saying that always means that the dev's going to sell, the dev has bad intentions. If you want to avoid, losing all your money, I would highly recommend not going for these plays very often. And if you do a very minuscule amount of about, 0.05 SOL. That way you're not losing too much. Now, on the subject of buying and selling, this is where you're going to be adjusting this, and you have to be very careful, because you don't want to be betting a very small amount on these platforms, because the fees will eat you up. Now, there's ways to kind of mitigate some of that, but let me go ahead and show you right now. So when you're in the position to get ready to buy, what you're going to do is click this little arrow right here. Not the best area to be able to do this, but that's where the settings are going to be. Now, I have my buy priority set to 0.001. This is basically just going to be, where your buy position gets put in, the flux of just people trying to buy at the same time. I don't want to have this super high, because I have my max slippage set to 30. So that should give me enough wiggle room, where slippage is basically the difference between where you want to buy and where the chart is currently showing. So if say I wanted to buy at 200K, and the chart, this is where I put the buy order, but the chart is pumping up, to about this much. Say that's 30%. Well, as long as my slippage was at 30%, it will actually fulfill the order up here, which could be bad. That's why you never want to buy while it's going up, because it also can do the opposite. So if I wanted to buy at 200K and I saw that it was on a downtrend, it was dipping, that's when you'd want to buy, in case it does that, like right there, and say that was a 30% dip. Even though I may have bought up here, I would actually fulfill the order right here because of my slippage. So that's something definitely to know. Now, buy MEV protection. This is extremely important for the buy specifically, because what this basically allows you to do is protect yourself against front-running bots. And what front-running bots essentially do is they try to buy right before you so that you buy at the top of them, right? So they get that advantage, and they can also auto sell right after that, just to make, a quick buck here and there. It's what these guys like to do, these bots, what they're pretty much designed to do. So something you definitely want to have enabled for the buy. For the sell, doesn't matter too much. Now the buy bribe fee is, it's very similar to the priority fee. It's just trying to give yourself some more wiggle room to be able to get your order in before other people. I have this set to 0.01 as well. Now in the sell settings, I have this pretty much set to the least amount of loss for me personally. So I have my priority fee and bribe fee set to 0.001, but I have my slippage set to 50. And the reason why this is important is for two reasons, and it's very similar to the buy, if I'm trying to sell at the top, I want this to sell instantly in case it keeps going to the top, or if it dumps really quick. I want to get out of my position as fast as possible. So I have this set to 50. You might even want to increase this a little bit more. It's really up to you and how you want to go about trading. Now for the sell MEV protection, I have this disabled because what disabling it does is actually makes your order go through faster. Now, a lot of bots don't sell right after you. It's not really their design. They want to get in front of you and then sell after. So usually this isn't too much of a problem. Not saying that you can't get like backrunned, but I don't think it's worth it. I would rather just have my ability to get out of my position as fast as possible. And then we have, like I said, the bribe fees, the same thing. Now you might think that you would want to increase these bribe fees to get out as fast as possible, but I currently have not had an issue with getting out with these settings right here. And again, I want the least amount of fees eating up my profits for my sell. So this is what I've been running so far with extreme success. Now let's actually go ahead and look into Pump Vision to see what coins are scams and what coins actually look like good prospects to actually buy into. So let's check this one out. And I can already tell you right off the back, this is an immediate scam. A chart will never look like this. This is extremely unnatural. And if we keep zooming out, which a lot of people forget to do, we can see that it just isn't natural. Charts never just shoot up like this and just steadily increase at this weird incline. That's not how it works. Even though the top 10 holders they don't look too bad, you know for a fact that most of the driving of this price is just the dev himself pushing bots to buy. Now, software won't always detect this, so you don't see a bunch of sniper bots and bot trades. But I can tell you right now, this right here, just memorize what this looks like. Anytime you see this, just run away because you'll get the field goal. And this is what I like to call the field goal, man. And this is essentially where the dev will pump up the token himself with his own capital, have bots, do little buys here and there, continuing to make it look like it's going to be, like, oh man, this project has so much traction. Let me get in real quick. And then, by the time you get in, there's, a dump like this. And then you pretty much lose all your money. So I call this the field goal. So memorize this. Memorize the green as well, because anytime you see that, just know it's going to do this. It's going to finish the field goal, and then you're going to get cucked in the end. Don't be this guy. Now let's keep on going. So let's see, Purple Pepe, about 18K market cap. It's a little bit early, but let's go ahead and check it out. Again, instantaneous scam. Always zoom out, guys. There it is again, right? There's going to be a lot of these. So it's going to become very, very common for you to see this. So you'll like start understanding it pretty quickly. But I just wanted to explain it really quick in this video, just in case, you don't zoom out and see the truth behind everything. So a lot of scams up here. So make sure you're really just going around, zooming out, making sure that you're not buying into something like this. Because there's going to be a lot of them, man. There's going to be a ton. This one looks a little bit enticing, but again, it still kind of has the same sort of figure. And this is what, some smarter, quote unquote, smarter devs will try to do. We can see that BULLX auto pop this up because that's a concern, right? But don't fall for this. This is just them trying to create some sort of more simulated natural motion. But at the end of the day, you're just going to get dumped down. Now you can go over here to holders and check. And as you can see, a lot of these are bundled. You can even just tell just straight from the source, right? So definitely do not get into something like this. Remember the shape. Again, it's not going to be that exact shape every time, but it's always going to have that silhouette. And another thing too is what you will notice is you'll see some like very successful coins that will end up getting copied. And I mentioned this in my last video as well. This one's looking like a pretty decent candidate, to be honest. Let's see, dev's completely out. You see a lot of copycat coins. So definitely look out for the legitimate ones. What I would do is say this looked like a copy coin to me. I would copy this name right here. Go ahead and go to the search bar, search it up. Let's see how many other ones there are with the same exact image, name, and ticker. So we can see that there's not a lot. There's some other florks. But there's not a whole lot here. Flork of cows, Flork of cows. So there is one right here. So that's why you got to keep scrolling. You got to be careful with these because usually when the real one's already had its run, it's going to be very unlikely for another one to have a run. Sometimes I've seen the second iterations have a pretty good run, not as successful as the top ones, but I have seen them run as well. Be careful getting into these copycat duplicate coin. Again, you won't, with these settings, you won't find, you'll find a lot of scams. Like I'll tell you right up front, you'll find a lot of scams, but it makes it just that much easier finding legitimate ones. So let's see what's happening here. Got a 20%, so it's actually not too bad. Zoom out a little bit more. The dev has not sold yet. Go ahead and throw this in Trench Radar. So it seems like this is a total of 9 bundles at 24 SOL, 7%. So it's not a crazy bundled, considering there's 160 holders. So this one could potentially be a good candidate to actually buy into. So let's go ahead and check a bit more. We have all the socials up here so we can see the website associated with it, Nico Art. Now here's the actual CA bundle. This is really important because this will show us if this is the legitimate one or the fake one. So 8A6E. So we go ahead and copy this token right here, paste it in. 8A6, 8AE6. I'm tripping. It's the same one. 8AE6. There we go. Cool. So now we know this is the legitimate project. Let's go ahead and keep on looking at it. So born on the 29th. They have a DEX paid at 60 market cap. Interesting. Seems like it seems like it's a meme. Overall, just a meme. And we can go ahead and check out the X profile as well. And they got the CA bundle as well. So, okay, so cool. This one kind of seems like it has a pretty good setup. The dev is still in it, which, if it's going to be a meme coin like this, could be a little bit scary, right? Because he could G'd out at any time he wants. But I guess it's something that I think I would probably put, a small bag. The holders are looking pretty healthy. So we'll just put a little small bag in here and, see where it goes from there. And if it starts going crazy while I'm recording this video, I will come back to it in a bit. All right, so I got it pulled over here to the side now. We can see our current profit. So we're at 1.53 profit right now, which is about 18 cents. So obviously it's not a whole lot, right? We were able to buy in at 27.99. So not too crazy. Again, we only put 0.05 SOL in, but if this thing does go pretty crazy and 2x, then obviously that's 0.1 SOL, and then if it goes migration, that could be even 0.2 SOL, right? So you could just adjust your numbers, if you were to put 1 SOL in there, and then you'll have a better idea of what the max results would be if this does end up migrating. So let's go ahead and try to find one more legitimate coin to be able to kind of show you a little bit of how I would get in. And another thing to kind of reiterate with this one, always buy on dips, guys. Don't buy on crazy runs like this, because 9 times out of 10, they're always going to end up dumping. Anytime the coin spikes up extremely hard, really fast. This is a 1 second chart. I would highly recommend that you always look at 1 second charts as well when trying to trade these meme coins, because this is a matter of 5 seconds that it shot from 24K all the way up to 32K, and we just saw it died down pretty fast and eventually had another run. But never buy on these sharp rises. You will almost always 9 times out of 10 get dumped on. Now, even though I got in at a pretty decent position here, this coin could go to zero. And as we can see, it's already past my buying point. So you never really know what's going to happen with these coins. Always look for the holders. You want it to have a healthy amount of holders. You want that top 10 holders percent to not be extremely high, and give yourself the best chance at actually, getting into a coin that has the potential to pump. I think that this coin does have the potential to pump. It's been doing pretty decent, relatively fast. It's been around for a little bit, but it obviously gained some traction, so some more eyes got on top of it. So we never know where it can go from here. Looks like this one's been around for a little bit over an hour. So we'll see where it goes. If it doesn't push that much more in about 15-30 minutes, then I'll probably get out of my position here, because it most likely won't go the mile. All right, let's take a look over here again. Another scam. Not even going to zoom out for that one. Or already looked at that. Pokemon one's probably going to be a scam. Yep, it is. Another scam here. Ton of scams, man. Just a ton of scams. You gotta be careful. And we see that one just actually started migrating. And this right here is definitely probably going to be a scam. This is really unlikely for a coin to migrate in what is this, like 5 seconds? Yeah, this is almost 100% a scam. As you can see, red is almost an instantaneous get out of there. 46% in the top 10 holders. We're not even going to look at that. But we could. I'll have it over to the side. That way I can show you the outcome of this, because this is most likely going to be a crazy rug just from the holders themselves, or the dev, aka the dev. As you see on the left side, we are back in the positives. We're rising once again, so hopefully we can get a more of a bigger push and start getting some more buy pressure to get toward that migration period. That's kind of what you're hoping. If you're trying to get into these coins extremely early, guys, we got in at 28K essentially. That's really, really early before these coins migrate. So as long as they check the boxes, like I've been saying in this video, they can have a good chance of making it. So let's look at this one. This one's looking pretty good so far. Dev has not sold, but a 41% top 10 holders. That I'm gonna hard pass on this one, even though the chart looks pretty good. These are probably pretty natural movements, honestly, but the dev has just allocated, most likely the dev allocated so much to these other wallets that I'm not even gonna waste my time, and I'm not gonna get dumped on. You're not getting me. You can see this question mark one that we were looking at earlier, and this looks super, super sketchy, right? Got a bunch of dev sells, dev buy, and just the motion just looks a little bit too controlled. So this one's probably going to dump eventually. It'll probably get pretty close to migration and then dump right there. It's usually what these types of coins will do. I'll go ahead and put this one to the side. That way, if it does happen, we can see it. And let me show you really quickly. This was the one that we looked at. It had like 47 or 49% top 10 holders. Instantly tanked all the way down. It had a little bit of some motion just to, I guess, attract a few more people, a few more suckers, as they're probably seeing people as, and then dump. Always avoid these, guys. A coin will never pump to migration in a matter of 5 seconds. It's extremely, extremely unlikely. I'm not saying that I haven't seen some do that and have success, but as an overall just thing to be aware of, do not fall for this, please. And here again, this was the other one that we were looking at. Instantly, right, sketchy. Trying to do some fake, motion here, but ultimately one big dump. Try to bring a little bit of traction to get just a few more people, and then just empties the bag. These happen so much. Look for the natural motion. This coin has a much more natural, even though it kind of had this little idle period here. Somebody definitely brought it back to life. That's what this is. So the coin had some motion here, was a little bit idle, and then people just kind of G'd it out. Then it had like pretty much no motion, and then somebody came in, whoever that was, somebody with some actual motion, and maybe they tweeted about it, who knows, and it drove the price up a little bit more. But you want to look for something a little bit more natural like. Now, all right, we have a solid prospect here. So this coin has been around for about 30 minutes or so. The dev seemed to have sold all his bag, 8.8, 8.8. So pretty much sold most of his bag. The top 10 holders are in the 21s, so that is extremely, extremely solid. And the holders at 117. So this will be another one that can, have some pretty good motion and could potentially migrate. So this is something I would also put my money in. I would wait for more of, a bigger dip somewhere around, the next previous low. So somewhere around this 30K mark. But if I see some resistance at 32, then I'll probably just buy there and just kind of take that as the low point for now. But we will see. If this doesn't have too much motion, then that'll pretty much be it. But I wanted to try to at least give y'all some ideas of how I go about trading, what I'm looking for, what I'm avoiding. These things, they don't come easy. And sometimes you won't be able to get, and every coin that you look for that you see might have potential, might not always rise. So you have to take that into account. Remember the 90-minute mark. Usually they don't blow up after that. So you don't want to hold the bag too long. If it doesn't seem like it has motion, if the holders aren't going up, then it might just be a coin that doesn't have what it takes. And that's fine, but just recognize that and just get out of your position to mitigate your loss. All right, so I went ahead and got into a position about right here. So I don't know. We'll see where it goes from here. I could win, I could lose. It's taking a little bit of time, so I'm gonna give it, another good bit. But guys, I want to go ahead and end the video right here. If you have any questions, let me know down in the description. If you want access to BULLX, please use the link down in the description. That will bypass the waitlist. I think, again, like I said, it's like either 200, like 400, 500K. It's a crazy number. So if you want to bypass that and actually use this platform to be able to get these trades, use that link down in the description and that will get you onto this platform, guys. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like down below and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. I'll see you next time.